Now I'm thinking 4 minutes. I've got 4 minutes. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. That time is flying by. And he just stared at me. He kind of tilted his head and it felt like forever. I was like, oh crap. I have just completely screwed myself on my very first interview.
Were you ever nervous with such big names interviewing such big actors and actresses?
Yeah, my very, very first movie junket interview I did, and just so people listening understand that when I say junket, what's a junket? Because when somebody came to me and said, "Do you ever do junkets?" And I said, "I don't know what is that." I said, "Oh, well, we fly you to a place and you go then see the movie, and then the next day you do the interviews, and then you get 4 minutes with each person, and then you get to turn it into a TV story." Oh, yes, I do junkets. I immediately accepted that opportunity. So the very first one was for the movie Now You See Me, and it was Mother's Day weekend, and it was in New Orleans, which is where the movie was based. So I remember getting to go stay at the Ritz-Carlton in New Orleans. That's my very first junket foray. I'm like, wow. And you get a per diem of like $100, I think it is. The studios give you for food and beverage. And I remember getting that and going down and buying a really expensive whiskey that I sat at the bar. But my very first interview was with Woody Harrelson. And he played a mentalist in that movie, Now You See Me. So I'm already way up in my head, right? Because here's this guy who's like, he can read my mind. So I'm gonna have some fun with this. Now, I don't know any of the ins and outs or the rules or the appropriate conduct or, what you do with these junkets. What I've learned is you don't ask for pictures. You have to abide by your time, but you also have to kind of push it sometimes. And so I go in and I was nervous for that one. And I walked in and I sat down. Nice to meet you. And one thing with Woody Harrelson is because he is so environmentally focused and concerned about climate change, is that when he is in a junket room, which is usually a hotel suite, all of the other lights are off except for the necessary lights for the TV shoot. The windows are open because the air conditioning is also shut off because we don't waste energy. So it's May, it's in New Orleans, it's not cold. And that room is hot because the lights are hot. And so you're going in basically preparing to sweat. So you're getting the full essence of Woody Harrelson. And I go in and I sit down and I look at him and I said something to the effect of, "I bet you're wondering what I'm thinking." And he just looked at me. Now I'm thinking, 4 minutes. I've got 4 minutes. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. That time is flying by. And he just stared at me. He kind of tilted his head and it felt like forever. I was like, oh crap. I have just completely screwed myself on my very first interview. When I look back at the tape, I think it was maybe 10 seconds or something, if that. But he looked back and he goes, "I think you like my blue shirt." So I was nervous for that. After that, it was like, good Lord, I get to go in and sit and talk with these people. Now, yes, you can be outside and like, okay, I want to make sure I got to ask this. You're doing that drill, but it was never to a point of like, I'm crippled or nervous, from it of just, what am I going to do? Or I was fumbling with notes. If you look at my interviews, I don't go in with notes. And I would go in like, a couple things I'd like to talk about. But I always wanted to just see where the conversation went. And in that case of that Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hardy interview for the movie The Revenant, had I gone in with a sheet of notes, I would have missed the moment that happened because I brought them a s'mores kit that featured some products from this Seattle company, Hotcakes. And they have these smoked chocolate chips that taste like a campfire. So you put them in s'mores. I mean, it's heaven. And so Leonardo and I are talking about the movie. getting into the meat of the interview. And Tom's over to the side, just pouring these chocolate chips into his palm and just into his mouth and like munching away at him and reading the label. I see this out of the corner of my eye. So I finally say, look at Tom over there. He's really enjoying these chocolate chips. And it just turned into this crazy moment. That video is over 2 million views. Vanity Fair picked it up, Entertainment Tonight. I mean, it was like all these different things. So that's where I got a pretty obvious reward of just go in and have a chat, just go in and be yourself. And I think it's refreshing for them as well.
Yeah. No, I've watched that. I thought the interview was really good. Like, it was so funny when you just started eating them and didn't really care about the interview at all. And you just eating them. So
yeah, you got to allow the moments to happen, right?
Yeah, for sure.